What's up, world? You are in tune to the Know It All podcast, and you got your main players with you. Of course, you got Big Tate. What's up, Tate, man? How you doing?
Ma, what's up, man? Just another week. Getting ready for this Christmas. I mean, as ready as can be. So got
Yeah,
about
man.
what? Got about 5 days.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And
Mhm.
we also got Big G. What's up, Big G? How you doing, man?
Man, what's up to the Know It All crews, man? We had a win today for Pittsburgh, and that's why I'm decked out. But I just want to say Happy Christmas, Merry Christmas to everybody. Even before, brother been putting up lights all day, and I'm still at it. I just had to take a break and do the show.
Yeah, man, that's important. And while we're talking about the show, this is the last show of the year for the podcast, and definitely we brought in a special guest. We got my man Big Chris. We are chosen here to discuss some stuff with us today, man. How you doing, Cho?
Hey, I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right. How about them Cowboys? That's what I'm.
How
That's what I'm
about
talking about.
them Cowboys? You know,
Mhm.
your Uncle Sean told me a lie. I'm not gonna get on here and tell it, and front him out about the
No,
lie
I'll
that he
tell it.
told.
I'll tell it.
About-
I said that if
but
Pittsburgh
let's
was
wait.
going to lose, no, I'll tell it. I
Hold
said
on,
if
let's wait.
Pittsburgh
We go
lost, I
after
was
we
going to
come
tear
back.
down all my Steeler stuff, put on a cowboy hat, and say, "How about them Cowboys?" Right
Do
on
you
air.
even have a cowboy hat
I
to
got
do
two
that
of
with?
them upstairs. I got Cowboy fans live in my house.
Well,
Okay.
listen, we're gonna get into that. But before we get into that, let's get into this. And welcome. This is the last Know It All podcast of this year, 2021. Man, there's a lot of good stuff that was happening this year and a lot of good stuff that's happening in sports right now. But man, listen, the first thing that I want to talk about, and I need, and we were talking about it before we went on the break.
Man, I think we lost Ahmad and Chris Tate, man. Something's
Uh,
going on. He's froze up, man.
hey, both of us froze.
Hey, so what you saying, Tate? What's the first thing you want to holler at this week, man?
Man, let's talk about all the COVID throughout sports, man. Games postponed.
Right.
A whole bunch of athletes and on NBA and NFL
It
teams.
is.
Right.
I know you called me the other day about what's gonna happen with fantasy football. I told you fantasy football just take care of itself. It'll make it, it'll make
Right.
it extend the week longer. So the fantasy week won't end until Tuesday after all the games is over.
Right. Right. I think COVID, man, is for whatever reason, man. I mean, of course, we know it was going to spread because of Omicron and the
You want me to
Delta
remove
variant.
myself?
But with people just, I can't say people ain't protecting themselves. I can't say that. But what I can say is that when folks are gathering up, it is spreading. And now, just like in every walk of life, it's done trickled down to every and anything,
Yeah.
So like you said, you got Brooklyn stopping with the stopping games. The Lakers then stopped some games. The Cavs even stopped some games.
The Cavs had to cancel the nice game or postpone it against Atlanta, and they had to put five more players on the protocol list, and even signing some D-League players because they that short.
Right. Isaiah Thomas. I seen the Lakers sign Isaiah Thomas from the COVID. And even more so, could you believe that even during all this COVID, that the Brooklyn Nets done brought Kyrie back and said that this Joker can play on road games, man. So that's telling you how desperate teams are to fill out their rosters, have players to be able to play, and COVID is just affecting everything, man. So it's not funny to see. It's just one of those things like, well, man, if it's almost was predictable because we was going to hit the winter months, but to see athletes, not be able to play because of protocols. But let me ask you a question: are you shocked that did you see where they sped up the time that they got to spend in isolation in the NFL and in the NBA?
That doesn't really surprise me because the majority and those that are sped along in the process have been vaccinated. So so you've been vaccinated, and then you show 2 consecutive negative tests. Then go ahead and get back out there. So I understand that, but that's all contingent upon being vaccinated. You know what I mean? And it was always going to be a thing where the winter months brought about more cases.
Right.
I think we just as many cases now in December of 2021 as we was in December of 2020.
Right.
The only difference is with people being vaccinated, not as many people are being hospitalized and dying, which is a good thing.
It's really sad to see like how hard COVID has hit professional sports again. It almost reminds me of 2020 when everything shut down?
2020.
Really, yeah, it almost reminds me like of going through that again, except it's not as severe like you said, Tate.
I think for professional sports, the hits that it's taken is it's affecting everything, right? It's affecting division races. It's affecting playoffs because you could get down to game day. You can actually get to game day and someone goes on the COVID list. And that'll shape and reform the whole game. That changes everything. So I said in the very beginning of the year, man, listen, whoever stays healthy and off the COVID list are going to be your champions, and with the winter months happening, hey, COVID is just like that. COVID is like that. And we had some technical difficulties. I was just saying, I was asking Tate how he felt about a 50-year career Steeler fan messing around and was fixing to burn all of his Steeler gear, talking about he was going to get on the show and say, how about them Cowboys? That's exactly what he said. I just wanted you to know that.
Sean, how I feel about Sean saying that?
Yeah, that's what he said he was going to do.
Man, if y'all made some bet, I understand that he might have said that right now, but then come next summer, he'd have been back.
Yeah, I was hurt. I'm still hurt, man. Yeah. Like I said, we rocking the Steelers today, and we won today, man. And I ain't no bandwagon jumper, man, but it was just so bad today, man. It was just so bad. How Najee Harris don't even have 20 yards rushing?
The offense was terrible, but Tennessee has a really good defense. And if in any game we win, Big G, it's gonna be an ugly game. We gotta muck it up.
Yeah.
We ain't finna shine on nobody.
No, that's not
the ugliest professional football team I've seen.
I got a real question. Do you want to muck it up and make the playoffs, man? That's a real question.
If that's what it takes to get there, if we can muck it up next week against Kansas City and Patrick Mahomes, I think we can get by Baltimore and Cleveland the last 2 games. So that next week is going to be the toughest game that's left. They all tough, but next week gonna be the toughest.
I'm gonna tell you. You know what team that mucked it up a lot and made it to the Super Bowl and won? That Giants team with Eli Manning and Justin Tuck and Michael Strahan, and they mucked it up the whole year. It was ugly.
9-7. No, y'all and you know what? I think y'all might be thinking a little bit too short term. Like if I was a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, I'd be thinking of, okay, when are we gonna get a quarterback? Like because Big Ben's on his way out, and we need a plan. And it's not like there's one coming in this next draft either.
The most important thing is the offensive line and defensive line. Clearly. I'm not worried about quarterback. You put Mason Rudolph can win 10 games with a good line and a good defense.
No, he's not. That's not true.
He can.
Hey, Rudolph can get 10. He can get 10.
I mean,
Bro.
he already 5-3-1 as a starter.
Man, I would rather have Deshaun Kaiser back there than Mason Rudolph. That's crazy. Yeah, like he's not a good quarterback.
Kaiser is not even in the league anymore, is
exactly. That's what I'm saying. That is exactly what I'm saying.
I mean,
he's not a good quarterback.
And I still
said, bruh.
I mean, I feel him, man. I mean, it's like that right now. But like I said, Tate right, man. We don't need to worry. First of all, there ain't nobody serviceable coming in this year's draft that's gonna help us anyway.
I would not use a first round draft pick on a quarterback. Not a first round.
Year.
There's gonna be a prospect better than Big Ben is right now.
Not in this year's draft.
Big Ben is better just based off his experience and his play in the clutch.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not saying he's
Big Ben got the best fourth quarter numbers in the league. Fourth quarter.
Big Ben did Tim Tebow. Yeah, Tim Tebow had godly fourth quarter numbers, but he's not standing here in a starting job.
But he wasn't leading the league in fourth quarter numbers. And I don't know that we know what we're gonna get from Dwayne Haskins yet. I think I haven't written him off yet. He's still a first round talent. And he spent the whole year in the system now. And hopefully he's matured. And next summer we'll see what we got with him. And I think they'll bring in another veteran guy. I don't know who. I mean, I would love they could trade for Russell Wilson or Deshaun Watson, but we'll see.
Deshaun Watson, I think, would probably be the way to go for the Steelers. And speaking of mucking it up today, did anybody get a chance to see, which I know you did, I know the answer to this question, did you get a chance to see Arizona take a L to Detroit, who's only won one game? What do we think about that, fellas? I mean, with our receiver being out, with Arizona's leading receiver Hopkins being out, they don't look like the same team. What's going on, man? Talk to me. What's going on with Arizona, man? Talk to me.
Man, I think Arizona just being exposed, man. I mean, they got a lot. You got to consider they was playing the last place schedule, because they finished last in their division last year. They playing the last place schedule. They have an explosive offense. They have some pieces. And Kyler Murray is tough to contain, but we getting down to the dog days of the season now. Teams there's a lot of film out there on you. Teams have seen you. I mean, guys are hurt and injured. That factors into what's going on with Arizona. I mean, they missing D-Hop, they missing J.J. Watt, who was a factor going to the beginning part of the year. Chase Edmonds. So they missing a lot of pieces. So I just think that the Rams are the cream of that division, and that's all I think. And that tie now for Pittsburgh with Detroit don't look as bad.
Right.
It don't look as bad. So talk to me, Big G, man. What do you think about this loss with Arizona just suffered?
Well, see, I live in Northwest Ohio. So when the Bengals and the Browns aren't playing a 1:00 game, we're forced on local broadcasts to watch sometimes Detroit. Now, today they had the Dallas Cowboy New York Giants game on, but the Detroit, if you have the type of channel stuff I have, you could have watched the game, right? So, but what happened was, and I got to see like maybe a quarter and a half of it. It looked like Arizona was completely unenthused and did not want to be in Detroit, Michigan in the middle of the winter. Even though they was playing outdoors, they looked like they did not want to be there. For whatever reason, I don't know if something happened on the plane ride over from Arizona to Detroit. I don't know if they just – I don't know what it was. But that first quarter and a half, they really got manhandled, And Detroit it was like Detroit was the team that was 10-4, and Arizona was the team that was like 1-10. It was like identities was reversed. And I really do believe it might be COVID fatigue, something that we started the show out with. It might be that guys are tired, because you got to think about it. These guys, they're professional athletes. They're getting protected. They're going through all the protocols and stuff. But some of those guys is like, man, this is getting real old real fast, man. So that's what I saw. I saw where these guys look like they did not want to be in Detroit, Michigan for whatever reason.
Well, so here's one thing, and I noticed this early in the week, right? And then I'm gonna let Chris say something. But I noticed early in the week that even last week when D Hop went out, this is a different team. It's just like Robert Woods not being there for the Rams. You know what I'm saying? It takes a while for you to try to find the pieces that you can put together. I mean, because look, while you had D Hop, Green was having a resurgent career, but today he was as quiet as a church mouse. Christian Kirk is the one who actually balled out, right? So you got to find I think there's a balance you have to find when your key person or your glue is out. You just need that opportunity to kind of find it. And unfortunately for them, guess what? They got 3 games left, and those 3 games, it ain't gonna determine if they make it to the playoffs. They're gonna make it to the playoffs. I mean, they're 10-4, but at this point, it's one of those things where you're looking at them and saying, "Hey, man, are you gonna win a playoff game?" If you don't get the balance that you need, you're gonna have to play. You're not gonna get a bye. Team gets a bye, and that look like it's gonna be the Packers, right? So, I mean, where do you go from here? And that's just where I see it, man. And you have a comment on this?
Yeah, so I'm a Cowboys fan, long suffering, and for the longest time,
how old are you, Chris?
I'm 27.
Oh yeah, long suffering. You're right. Keep going.
hey, it's in my blood, dog. But so for the longest time, we had Jason Garrett, right? And Jason Garrett could win when his talent was elite, right? When his talent wasn't elite, we were very mediocre, which leads me to believe that the scheme is not the thing that is causing wins, right? And I kind of feel that I'm going to ask this in the form of a question. How do you guys feel about Cliff Kingsbury? Because I kind of feel similarly to what I just explained about Jason Garrett. When his talent is elite, he can pull out some wins, but when it's not happening, or if somebody goes down, it's just mediocre again. How do you guys feel?
I'll let Big G take that.
I think Kingsbury is a good coach, right? But there's some bias there out of y'all because he was down there at Texas Tech, and y'all hate on them Red Raiders.
Not a good, not doing a great job there.
But it's just like anybody else. At last I checked, I ain't never seen an NFL coach ever run out on the field and make a first down, make a block, run a play, or catch a ball, or defend anybody. However, and also coaching in the NFL, in many cases, is just more management than actually them doing the job. Because you have assistants that are defensive coordinators, offensive coordinators.
Hold on, G.
I don't know about that with Kingsbury. They just look on it too.
Hold on, G. So Tate, do you agree? Because you're hearing him saying that coaching doesn't matter. That's literally what you just said.
I didn't say it don't matter. I'm just saying that he's not going to affect it like that. Players play.
True. I think coaching definitely matters, and I think Cliff Kingsbury is a serviceable coach, even if he's not a good coach. I mean, you put Cliff Kingsbury in Green Bay, and he do the same thing Matt LaFleur has done the past 3 years.
Rams,
you know what I mean? So it's not that big. I mean, you have a terrible coach. Jason Garrett was a terrible coach. Cliff Kingsbury would have been better than what Jason Garrett is. Correct. So I mean, I think yeah, if you have talent, you're supposed to win. You know what I mean? But
so here's what I do agree on that comment. When Bill Belichick didn't have a quarterback, they won games, but it was hard. I think certain schemes are built for certain players to be in certain positions in order for them to thrive, right? Like, I go back to the whole Robert Woods thing. Robert Woods and the Rams, they need a Robert Woods in the scheme. As Tate pointed out last week, Robert Woods ran jet sweeps. He got in the backfield, took direct snaps. I mean, Heck, I even think I remember him throwing the ball a couple of times. He was, he did everything for that team, and him not being there affects them in ways in which you just don't get right off the rip. And I think Cliff Kingsbury is a good coach. I don't think he's like Mike Tomlin or anybody. I mean, Mike, if any other team had, if any other coach was down there in Pittsburgh, they wouldn't be winning. I mean, I'm just gonna tell you the truth. Pittsburgh right now is pulling them out by the X's and O's and the schemes of things. Tomlin's doing his thing. He's doing his thug thizzle. But Kingsbury is okay. I mean, I just think that his scheme, just like Belichick, is built for certain players to be in certain places at certain times. And, not having D-Hop affects him.
I think you're right. I mean, because, in football, and in sports in general, it's not always about the X's and O's if you got the Jimmies and Joes. But when you don't have the Jimmies and Joes, and as a coach, your personality is a force, like Mike Tomlin, what I mean? For example, you can kind of inspire and encourage and will those players to go out there and do more than what they're actually would be capable of under a normal coach.
Yeah, exactly. Because Tomlin has proven that even at the worst years, we going 500 or a little bit better. I mean, even on the lean years, that's where we're going. So he has an established culture. Well, I think Kingsbury is in the process of trying to establish a culture. I don't know if they got a culture or identity out there. Everything is about Kyler Murray. They win
the culture is Kyler Murray.
They win or die with Kyler Murray. They win or die. Kyler Murray is everything to them. So, I don't know if they have the culture yet. But Kingsbury is a good coach, though.
Yeah, and kind of switching gears, you guys, man. We got to go down to Mr. Glass. We got to talk about this, man. AD get hurt more than the law. I'm just curious, man. Who is his offseason strength coach? Like, why are we not getting this man in positions to win? I don't understand it, man. I don't get it about him. Every time the wind blows, he's hurt, man. Talk to me, Tate. I know you have a thought process about this, being that LeBron is your guy and you watch the Lakers, but Cleveland's your team. I gotta always say that. What's your thought process on Mr. Glass, AD himself? Talk to me about that.
Man, I don't know what kind of work AD puts on and does in the offseason. I mean, because he came in last year out after the championship out of the bubble, out of shape, about 20 pounds out of shape. And he's been getting hurt ever since he came into the league. You know what I mean? And now we look at the New Orleans Pelicans, and they still not good. They weren't good with AD, and they not good now still. And then he goes to the Lakers. And I'm questioning whether or not they would have got that championship that year if it wasn't in the bubble. I think the bubble kind of changed the dynamics. Obviously, it did, but for everybody, you know what I mean. There's no surprise that the year of the bubbles, the year of the COVID, that LeBron James and Tom Brady both got championships because they've been doing it for so long. But back to AD. Yeah, man, he's a walking injury. I mean, it's a thumb, it's a knee, it's a back, it's always something, man. I mean, I don't know what to say about AD, man. I don't know what to say.
And what you got, G, man? Talk to us about Mr. Glass.
Well, I mean, did y'all see the play? I mean, I saw the play, and I mean, AD got issues with not training in the offseason, maybe not getting himself in shape. Really, what he's not done is put on muscle, which will help him more than anything. And I don't know if he thinks or feels that'll affect his game. But the dude, when LeBron pushed the dude into his leg, man, that was like sort of serious. And for AD to be walking away and only getting 3 or 4 weeks possibly being out, man, it might not be as bad as, because it looked worse. I mean, the dude's leg literally bent backwards, So I don't know if that was a situation when he was the wrong place at the wrong time. However, I've watched a lot of that game with my daughter, right? And the Lakers were totally frustrated in that game. They look like they look like we was at the Bradfield Center playing a pickup game, and Malcolm Martin was going to hit Richard Glover in the mouth. That's how that game. They were literally playing that way. Like they was playing straight up Robb Park basketball, Bradfield Community Center basketball. It was bad. It was bad, man. And I don't know if that's because they're older or they're unenthused with the regular season. But it was a lot of like shenanigans that went on in that game, and Brian was like the leader of it. He was pissed.
We were just talking about coaching in football. I think some of it translates to coaching in basketball. I mean, Frank Vogel is a good coach. I mean, like I said, when I talked about the bubble just a second ago, Frank Vogel probably don't get a championship if it's not in the bubble.
If it's not in the bubble, yeah.
You know what I mean?
I disagree with y'all. Like,
I disagree. So tell us why
you
disagree,
bro. You can't do that. Like, you can't put an asterisk by their championship. Like they earned that championship just like every other championship team earned their championship. You know what I mean? Like to put an asterisk and say like they wouldn't have got it if the bubble. Well, okay, the Miami Heat wouldn't have got their championships if LeBron didn't join the team. Like there, you could put asterisks by everything. Like that's not fair. The Raptors wouldn't have got their championship if Klay Thompson didn't get hurt. Like we can't do that.
I'm not putting an asterisk by it because they won under the same conditions and circumstances that all the teams played under. But those circumstances and the conditions made it more conducive for a more veteran team like the Lakers.
Absolutely.
That with LeBron and Rondo and Dwight Howard and all the veteran pieces they had to win the championship and bring up the Miami Heat wouldn't have made it to the finals any other year outside that bubble year either, because that's who the Lakers played. Because you know they were all on one compound. They didn't go home and deal with wife and kids. They didn't deal with other real life problems. They were
that
just
should have made it easier to play basketball.
They were just there like summer league at a hoop camp for 4 months.
That's what I'm saying. That should have made it easier to compete. Like that's the most conducive environment to compete in when there's no.
That's easy. That's easy for veterans. That's easy for veterans. Like that's why a lot of the youngsters struggled in the bubble because they're used to like just like when you think about the culture of the young people, it's all AAU, man. All they do is travel, go over here, play some games, go over here, play some games, go over there, play some games. That's their life. And now you gotta sit still and you can't be up around nobody.
Big G. I'd actually say it's the opposite. I say that time in the bubble was better for the younger players because that's exactly what they used to. And the older players is used to going home, seeing their wife, seeing their kids, dealing with life. So that whole routine was broken. For them to be away from their wife and families for 3-4 months could have had an effect on them.
So my thing is the crowd. When you go to the bubble, the crowd makes that made a difference. Not having a crowd, you know what I mean. That made a big difference. So
there was no true home court. Like going along with what you're saying.
Going back to AD,
the Lakers. Going back to the Lakers, Isaiah Thomas got picked up. And in his first game, he had 19. What you guys think about that? What you guys think about Isaiah Thomas?
I have something to say about AD real quick.
Okay, go ahead.
So I definitely think you guys are being too hard on him, calling him Mr. Glass. Like when we think about what the New Orleans Pelicans training staff actually is, it's the Saints training staff. Like it's the same doctors, right? So we kind of know like that's not how you run a franchise. When you look at like how Drew Holiday when he was there and how hurt he was, and now when he's with the Bucks and he's available all the time, kind of seems like there might be something rotten in that organization and not players. And so when I think about AD, I kind of throw that out. Like maybe he was injury prone, maybe it was a lot to do with that organization. He's been mostly available with the Lakers, and it seems like it was just kind of a freak thing that happened. Y'all both looked at me like I'm crazy.
Injury prone.
He was in the playoffs. In the playoffs, he's played, right? When it matters, he played, right?
He missed all last year playoffs. He didn't play a game.
He missed some games.
You know, he tried to play against Phoenix one game and couldn't do it.
maybe he is injury prone, but I know a lot of that has to do with the organization of the New Orleans Pelicans more than it has
Except
to
for
do
he's been with the
AD.
Lakers for 3 years now.
Yeah, that's what I'm finna say.
He won a championship with the Lakers. Like, he's available for most of the time that he's been there.
I don't think his work ethic is solid. That's all I'm saying.
That
And
you can
the
lay at his
off-season
feet.
work
Yeah,
ethic
yeah.
is not solid. He's
But-
getting hurt way too much.
This the
And
deal
he's
about
young
AD, and we said this on the show already. AD is a top 5 talent. He's got to
Yeah.
play, train, prepare, and do what he got to do as a top 5 talent. Until then, he's a bust. When you start talking about a guy's top 5 talent, that means he should win multiple championships. Multiple. More than one.
Allen Iverson a bust?
3.
Allen Iverson a bust?
No.
I don't know if
No,
Allen Iverson
by
ever
your-
had the team around him to do what he needed to do. And
But top 5
realistically,
talent.
yeah,
Top
but he
5
never,
talent, right?
Look,
Should have won
you got
multiple
AD
rings.
with LeBron James. I mean, come on, man.
I don't know that bust is that. That's not a bust to me.
Yeah,
If-
yeah. He hadn't won MVP. He didn't take his team to the chip. Braun did. Now he played in the bubble.
He might not be a bust, but he's definitely an underachiever.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's fair. That's fair.
He's an underachiever. He's that. So back to this Isaiah Thomas thing. What you guys think about that? Tay, what'd you think? I saw you smile when I said what I said. Talk to me, man. How you feel about Isaiah Thomas being back in the league?
Isaiah Thomas had 2 elite years for the Boston Celtics. He was part of the Kyrie Irving trade to Cleveland.
Yep.
And Danny Ainge sold a lemon, really. That's what Danny Ainge did.
Yeah.
Danny Ainge sold a lemon because his hip was messed up. He got off Isaiah Thomas. He never worked in Cleveland. He been hurt. I think he still think he 2016 Isaiah Thomas though. You know what I mean? So I'm not surprised that he got 19. I mean, he jack up shots all the time.
Right.
You know?
So
He's not going to affect winning for the Lakers.
Man,
I just
really
think you got
smells
another ball hawk. I think
Yeah.
this to me was confusing and perplexing because it's like you got another black hole for the ball to go. It's already too many. Russie demands the ball. Russie demands the ball already. And there's already too many gimme the balls on the team. And I don't know. G, what you think about this move, man? Because I saw your face when I said it. You kind of chuckled. So talk to me. What you think about
this move? You got AD, Mr. Glass, and over the hill gang trying to win NBA games. It ain't gonna help them a bit, man. The thing
over the hill gang.
Yeah, you got over the hill gang instead of cooling the gang. It's the over the hill gang.
And they old as the Sugar Hill gang.
for real.
Don't understand that one.
The hip to the leg.
Right, they can't. This is the thing you gotta love and hate about Bron. This is the truth of the matter. LeBron, he can bring your franchise a championship. He's already proven it. He's done it in 3 different cities, right? But the issue is when LeBron shows up to your team, he's gonna gut your future, right? Yeah. He don't have time to sit around and play with no babies or no kids or guys that's trying to learn. He's gonna gut your future. So it's like you robbing Peter to pay Paul. G. You robbing Peter to pay Paul, and that's the issue with LA. LA now has all these dudes that are old that I don't know if they're either too old or not enthused with regular season, right? They just want to make it to the playoffs so they can play, right? And that ultimately is going to hurt you because, like I said, LA is not going to be a top 6 seed in the West. There's no way.
Might put them on the same side as the bracket as the Warriors, and you don't want that. But when you look at this move, I'm gonna take a macro view on it. It's indicative of the talent in the league right now and how hard it is to acquire talent. Like, I would really not want to be the set like Daryl Morey right now because it seems like the Isaiah Thomas moves of the world is the best you're gonna get. You know what I mean? And getting off Ben Simmons for another star seems dang near impossible if the Lakers are like, well, Isaiah Thomas is the best we got, you know. So
yeah,
I think Go ahead, Marl. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead, Tate.
No, I was just saying to piggyback off what both Big G and Chris were saying. To the LeBron point, LeBron only wants to play with veterans. Right. So so once LeBron goes somewhere, you automatically in win now mode. You don't got time for player development. You don't got time for none of that. It's let's go. And to what Chris was saying, I think in the NBA, I think sometimes general managers overvalue their assets. I mean, Ben Simmons is his own problem. Not because Ben Simmons can't ball, it's his attitude and his perceived mental state right now. The elephant in the room that he's created. So and then in the NBA, salary caps are tough because you want to have three stars. 3 stars right there are going to take up about 75% of your payroll.
Right.
Now you got to fill in. So now you got to fill in with little ancillary pieces and stuff like that. And so, when you get good value for veterans and you hit on young players and you have that core of stars, then you can compete. I think that's why Golden State looks amazing right now. I mean, they lost a couple years. They got all them high draft picks. Yeah. They had time to develop Jordan Poole. You know what I mean? They got Andrew Wiggins and the KD trade, he's never lived up to expectations, but he works for them.
Yeah, right. Talk about culture. Talk about somebody establishing a culture and just seeing their plan through. Like Golden State
and they have a culture. Yeah. I agree. Yeah, they do.
And the killer part with Golden State is Clay and Wiseman come back in January.
That's what I was just about to say. You have
Clay comes back, not Wiseman. We don't know about Wiseman yet.
But Wiseman gonna get you 14-8. Wiseman gonna get you 4. That's all he needs. All he needs is 14-8.
I'm saying big men come along slow in that system. That's what I'm saying.
They don't need him to do nothing.
All they want you to do is to play defense and rim run, though.
Right. Sure. 14-8.
Yeah, it's gonna help. It's gonna help. It's not gonna hurt.
I mean, for real. And to compete in the West, what Tate just said, it's what you have to do. That's what your big man has to do. Play defense, rim run. That's it. If you do that, because you got guards out there in the West who are prolific. You know what I mean?
In the West, you got to be able to shut down 3 centers: DeAndre Ayton, Rudy Gobert, and a big boy in Denver. That's what your center got to do.
And Joker, the only one that don't do what we just said, play defense and rim run. He's a playmaker and facilitator that can make shots.
Right, he's a special player.
He's more on the offensive part of it, where Rudy Gobert and DeAndre Ayton, they play defense, they rim run, they hit the dunker spot along the baseline, they catch lobs, all that stuff.
Yeah. So how do we feel? How do we feel about this Kyrie thing? Him being able to play away games now. How do we feel about that? Do we feel like he still needs to go? He needs to be a part of a trade. What are we thinking, you guys?
Brooklyn is desperate. I mean, even though they're the 1 seed in the East right now, Brooklyn's desperate. Their roster has been decimated by COVID. They don't want to get off of the 1 seed. They want to continue to be able to sell tickets, and they bow down to Kyrie. I mean, that's because bottom line is the NBA, whether they want to win or not, it's about putting butts in seats. And they want to put butts in seats.
You think they blinked? You think it was the Nets that blinked and not Kyrie?
The organization did, because they came out strong talking about he ain't going to play and we're not going to let him. We're going to do this, that, and this. Now all of a sudden you change up. And COVID is at its worst. Like when they was talking that strong about him, it wasn't nowhere close to being as bad as it is right now. But now COVID's at its worst, and you're going to back up off of it. It's about putting butts in seats, man. You got James Harden and Kevin Durant on COVID protocol. They need to put butts in seats. They want that bread.
He's not going to play at their arena, though.
What?
He's not going to play at their arena, though.
Correct. So but on the road, listen, you better believe if KD, Kyrie, and James Harden show up on the road, even in Detroit, it's a sellout. Even in Sacramento, it's a sellout. I'm talking about even in New Orleans, it's a sellout. There's no tickets available if those 3 jokers show up in the arena.
Yeah.
So what do you think about this, Tate? How you feeling? How you feeling about Kyrie like Chris said, Kyrie made the organization blink. How you feeling?
I don't know that I'd say he made them blink. I mean, it was an organizational decision to have him not play away games from the beginning. So I think they didn't blink. I think they like, man, we need Kyrie, even if it's just on the road. You know what I mean? So I think they want him more so than they gave in to his demands. You know what I mean?
Well, so it's still Kyrie didn't budge from his position, right? So Kyrie not budging, they budging. It made it look like, yeah, we're playing chicken, and you moved your car. I stayed. I won that battle, right? When I look at this whole thing, and you guys started out talking about COVID and the effects in sports, man. Dog, it's gonna get worse before it gets better again. So you're gonna see all the way till February this be a real problem. You may even see this be a hindrance at the Super Bowl. One team might get in and win because another player's out. So it's one of those things now where I feel like until the rules are, kind of the same all the way across the board, you're gonna see all of this fluctuation. And it's going to be a whole bunch of things going on here. What Tate, you were about to say something?
Yeah, I think it's slightly different in basketball and football just because of the time in between games. Yeah. So I think when those two teams get to the Super Bowl, and who it's going to be, and it's 2 weeks from the last playoff game to the Super Bowl, whole squad's going in quarantine. Yeah. You know what I mean? They only going to be able to be around each other at practice and stuff like that, just for that very reason. But when we talk about the NBA playoffs, so what? Kyrie going to be in a 7-game series and he ain't going to get to play home games in a 7-game series? That's that's when it's going to really make a difference. You know what I mean?
Hey, I wouldn't be shocked. And if the NBA shuts down at some point, number one, and I wouldn't be shocked at come playoff format if they huddle them all up and they designate 3 or 4 cities and say these are the places where we're playing the games at.
So that actually might be smart, kind of like college.
Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked. I wouldn't be shocked at all if like they do it more like you said, like an NCAA tournament. Like a Sweet 16, and they say, okay, these are the places where we're playing the games at, and do it something like that. I wouldn't be shocked at all. And been shutting it down in regular season.
I don't think that's viable. I think the NBA lost too much money in 2020. They gonna keep this. These adults just gotta be responsible, man.
That's it.
You know what I mean? They just gotta be responsible of taking care of themselves and them around them. Making sure that they vaccinated. Don't go in crowds. You can't go when you on the road. Go to the bar, go to the club, and hang out and stuff like that.
You can't do it.
You can't do that stuff.
You can't go to Magic City and get no lemon pepper steppers.
But to flesh out Big G's point, you don't think it would work, Tate, if it was LA, New York, Houston, Dallas, or Chicago?
It could work, man. But you know how much revenue that goes into cities like Milwaukee, and if Cleveland makes the playoffs this year, in San Antonio. I mean, them little mid-market cities, they can't sell all them 18,000 seats for 3 or 4 nights. Let LA get all the money.
You're right. Yeah. You would have to split it amongst everybody that made the playoffs. That's the only way it will work.
Yeah, but I don't think KnoItAllZ listeners, what you guys think about COVID in athletics where we're going right now. You feel free to chime in on this subject, because definitely I think it's going to be a visible roadblock that's going to show its head again in a major way before we're over with all of our major sports that we have going on right now.
I missed two games this weekend. They canceled or postponed. They canceled Ohio State, Kentucky, And like I said, they canceled the Cavs and the Hawks tonight. Both my basketball teams, I'm looking forward to watching this weekend. I ain't get to see none of them.
Yeah,
football put in new COVID protocols too this week. I think they had an emergency meeting, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's one of those things where we're gonna have to look at it. We're definitely gonna have to look at it. Hey, we were having a discussion before we actually came on, and we were just talking about game systems. There's a movie out now, 10-bit Christmas, I think that's what it's called, and it's talking about the first Nintendo when it came out and how everybody was going to go get it and running to go get it, and being that it was Christmas time. Let's talk about this, man. Like the game system that you remember the most growing up.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Talk to me about that, and then getting it for Christmas. So what was the game system that you remember the most? I can remember the first ones, but there's a particular game system for me that I think it was best. Talk to me about that, Tate. Which was the game system when you were growing up with was just the end all be all? You had to get that one for Christmas.
Hey, let's. For me, man, it's the Nintendo, man. Nintendo 64. You know what I mean? Yeah, you
Not the first one you got. That's the 64. The 64 was like the third generation. So let's talk about that one.
You used to have to take the cartridges and slap them and blow in them and put them in to try and make it work. I remember many days back in the day playing against Big G, playing Bill Walsh college football, and we talked about double dribble earlier and Tecmo Ball. All those early games, those games from like the late 80s.
Y'all played Mario Sunshine on the Nintendo 64?
I played Mario, but I don't know about no Mario Sunshine. It wasn't called that.
You weren't playing it then. You weren't playing it right.
I didn't know about that, but yeah. So for me, it's Nintendo. But I quit on the Sega Genesis probably about 2000. Man, I felt like I was spending too much time because what we be playing Madden, and when you lose, you have to sit and watch. And by the time you sit and watch, you play one, maybe two games, and spent the whole evening. 2 games.
And you've been gone. You've been over there for 8-10 hours. You know what I'm saying?
for 6 to 8, easy though.
Easy.
And I was like, man, nah, this is taking too much of my time. So I stopped gaming back in 2001 for real.
Yeah. So, for Christmas, man, what was the end all be all? The game you had to have. Oh, but let's go back. Tate, what was your favorite game? You got to give me that one. So hold that thought. We'll come back to it. So G, come on, man. What was your favorite one for Christmas that you had to have?
The most excited I was ever to get a game system is when I got the Atari 5200. That was the most excited I ever was about any game system. I think I played Defender.
Turn a little nut, or the one
I think I played Defender. The stick. Yeah, I think I played Defender for 3 straight days. I mean, I'm not playing with y'all. I mean, the system got so hot, because it was sitting down on the carpet that my dad was tripping. He was like, man, you need to get off that game. I was playing Centipede, Defender, stuff like that. But when sports came along, and the first sports stuff was that Sega Genesis, man. That Sega Genesis did it all for me, man. That NBA Live, man, look, NBA Live, and when Madden first hit, oh my, man, come on, man. Like Tate said, you talking about time, effort, money, and energy playing a video game? Oh my God. You trying to figure out strategies, all kind of other stuff. Man, I was getting it in, man.
Yeah, Tawana said she's not really a gamer at all, but I ripped a few hearts out playing Mortal Kombat on Sega Genesis. Yeah, Tawana, Tawana, for real. So before we get into a whole nother generation, I'm gonna go ahead and put mine there too.
Y'all are gonna be sad with mine.
It was a Sega Genesis, and it was Madden, man. So I played Tecmo Bowl on Nintendo, and I remember in college we would get together, group together on our Super Nintendo. We would group together in one room, man, and we were playing. You had Randall Cunningham, you had the Giants, you had the 2 running backs for the Bears, Bo Jack. Man, I'm telling you, it was phenomenal. So you got in there, and we had a great time. But when I got Sega, and I was able to start playing hockey, I lost my mind. Like I don't know what it was. You with Chris Chelios and the Red Wings and Detroit, and you ice. You could chin check people, put them up against the thing, and then you could play together. So it would like be 2 or 3 people on the team, and we were pulling hat tricks. I loved it, man. It was so much. I lost too many hours behind it. So just like Tate, I had to put the game systems up. And I mean, I still own game systems to this day, but I don't play them nearly as much as I used to play them back then, man. He said, Damian Tate said, win and you won't see it.
Brother D. Gotta get that victory.
That's my brother. My brother used to smash me in Madden. He's a really good Madden player, all through and through. And let me tell you about this how Madden was like crack when it first came out, man. I was like 17 or 18 years old, and the first person to have the Madden game was my cousin RP. RP 6 years younger than me. So I'm like 17, he 11. I was going on and I was spending the night with 11-year-old just so we could play the game all night.
I bet you wasn't showing him no mercy either.
Oh nah, but we was both new though. You know what I mean? So
okay. So there's no.
Yeah, no.
But I used to like to play with the Houston Oilers, Warren Moon and them. That was
Warren
nice.
Moon and them. Yeah. Damien is right, man.
Hey.
Win and you won't sit, but that's easier said than done when you got people who spend a lot of time on the game, and then it's just they'll find a glitch and start wearing you out with it. The spin was the glitch that a lot of people found with Barry Sanders, and it would piss me off because you couldn't tackle Barry Sanders. And it was just like it was cheese, we called it cheese.
I think the glitches was more on the older games like Tecmo Bowl. I think Madden was more realistic. And like it would penalize you. Like if you didn't punt, something bad would happen to you. You had to play it like it was real football.
Yeah.
Did y'all have skunk rules? When did skunk rules come
along? 21 skunk rules all day.
21-0. But then when we started gambling on it, you mean you couldn't cut it off for the money. You had to finish your game out.
Yeah.
y'all was just being frustrated for 45 minutes.
Just getting blew out. Get the doors blew off for you. The doors blew off for you. It's something else. Now, Chris,
I got to give a shout out to Damon Tate too, man. As far as the game, because Damon Tate showed me how to run the ball on the game. I didn't really understand the whole concept of how you could beat a dude and throw 4 passes. The whole game you could throw 4 passes and win. Damien Tate showed me how to do that. And once I mastered
it's realistic.
I was a killer.
You have to follow your blocks, and you can't just try to head outside in games and try to use speed to outrun folks. You can't do that. You really have to let a play develop and move. And that's still today in this game. It's even more so now. But Chris, what was the first game that you got excited about getting for Chris? Now we don't need to tell. We don't need to tell, how you got your feelings hurt in one game, but that's neither here nor there.
We don't have to, but unfortunately, it was that game. Hey, before we jump into this, have y'all talked about Urban Meyer yet?
No,
we haven't talked about Urban Meyer, but we can get to it after this. But go ahead.
Okay. So the game system. Man, I owned an Xbox 360, and that was the first thing that I got for Christmas as like a real game. Well, that's not true. I had a PlayStation 1, but that was the one I was excited about. So excited, in fact, nobody knows this, that I snuck to make sure in my parents' closet where they had all the presents just to make sure I got it. That's the only time I've ever done that. But the game, or no. Sorry. So I had an Xbox 360, but everybody else had a GameCube. And let me tell you something. The GameCube had all the games, so much so that I had to go get a GameCube myself. So real talk, if we're talking about the console with the most impact, man, I played the mess out of some Mario Baseball, some Mario Soccer. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you, it was GameCube. That was the one that the little purple one. Yeah, that's the one that really did it for me.
And I think we all end up playing Mario Kart and Super
Mario
Brothers
Kart
was a thing. And then when we got into Mortal Kombat, like Tawana said, that was the thing. Your Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, I was running them with that. You was running them.
Hey,
you know,
can't nobody on this podcast see me in some second though. That's all I know.
Yeah, listen, my daughter and my daughter's boyfriend, them jokers got P4s and P5s, man. And I walked in the room the other day and watched my daughter's boyfriend. He was playing NBA 2K or whatever that thing was. Man, that thing looked real, man. They look real. I was like, there's no way in the world technology has passed me up so far. I wouldn't even know the first thing to do.
Well, right? I know the first thing to do. I know somebody who's had their feelings hurt a couple of times. You know, I'm not gonna say any names. I mean, you know, they've been embarrassed a couple of times. You know,
hey man, beat me in 2K. That's all I gotta say. I beat you in 2K right now.
You know, Tekken had me. The devil's in that Tekken game. That's all I can say. It was trying to break up my family tape.
Listen, I don't know what you're talking about. All I know is see me on that 2K.
Hey, they was trying to break up my family tape. The 2K, I mean, Tekken was trying to break up my family. But yeah, Chris has gotten beat on several different occasions, you know, by his father in 2K. But you know,
that's never happened.
Wow, okay, all right. So, but anyway, you guys, man, I'm honestly, this is how I feel about this whole thing. The movie, because I watched the movie, and the demand for things around Christmas time gets so heavy that there's always a popular toy like the Tickle Me Elmo, the Cabbage Patch Kids, or whatever. There was back then. There was a whole bunch of toys that people went after. It's not that type of culture now, you know, because kids are into so many different things. You know, they're into Dragon Ball Z. They're into a lot of anime. You know, just things that we weren't into, but the games are still a lot the same. So when we talk about the game systems, man, I think there in most houses, if you have a man in that house that's around, you know, 50 and under, the chances are pretty good that you're going to have a game system in the house. Now, let me ask you this. How many game systems are in your house right now, Tate?
I don't have not one game system. I have two actual arcade games. I got a Miss Pac-Man and the NBA Jams game. You know, this are the same ones we used to play in the arcade back in the day. So you don't got to put quarters in mine. But
that counts though.
I don't have a game system like that I hook up to my TV or anything like that.
But that still counts. You have a game, so you have those two game systems in your house. You got two. So Big G, how many game systems do you have in your house?
This ain't a fair. This a loaded question.
Oh, man.
How is it loaded?
Because this is why. I still got a PlayStation 2 that works. I still got a Nintendo Wii that works. So they hooked up down here in the basement. My daughter upstairs got a P4. My daughter boyfriend got a P4 or P5. And them jokers got tower computers that they play like for real games. And both of them
so I'm
got
gonna say towers. 6. Let's just make that 6.
There's 6 in the house, man.
Okay, so me and Tate, we both got 2. I have 2 in the house. I have one in my bedroom, one in the front room. So Chris, how many you have?
I got a Switch and a Xbox One.
So yeah,
I got 2.
He has 2. So I mean,
I think the larger question is how much time do you playing the game now?
0.
Me?
Yeah,
0.
0.
Yeah.
You a liar. You over there. Mod, you a liar.
What?
No, I don't play the games. I ain't got time. I wish I did. But you know what? On the for real tip, I already told my daughter boyfriend, because I'm off the week after Christmas. Oh, I'm getting in that 2K. I already told him to go get another controller. I said, I'll buy one. And I said, me and you gonna play this Madden, and we're gonna play 2K, and I'm gonna get to the point where I can beat you, and I'm quitting. I just want to beat you. Once I beat him the first time, I'm done. I'm not playing no more.
I've done that.
I think you think it's gonna go a little differently. Madden's gonna piss you off, man, because it's way different, and it is not. That like it will hold you in a second too. Like it's not a good. the physics aren't great. Like the gameplay isn't great. Like yeah, it's not gonna go the way you think it's.
And
gonna
that
go.
basketball, I'm telling y'all. I mean, maybe I'm an old head, but that basketball looked real, man. I'm telling you. I walked in there and I stood because it's on a decent sized screen, and I'm looking. I'm like, man, we watching a real game for real. This looked like for real, for real. I was like, oh man, I got to learn how to play this.
Yep. And so this is the last thing before we get ready to get out of here, you guys. 2021. In 2021, what was your sports highlight and what was your highlight of the year? Something that happened in 21. It could be sports or it could be anything. What was like the highlight of 2021? And I'll start with G. What was like your highlight, like the major high point of 2021? Because we only have, today's the 19th, so we only have 11 more days left. So talk to me, or 12 more days left.
Well, 2021 was more of a recovery year, to try to get back to sports as normal, right? So I was just, to be honest, happy to see butts and seats at ballparks, as sports arenas and stuff like that, because 2020 was such a heartbreak, even though we had sports and, we had the bubble and the college football playoff and all that other stuff that was really I was just happy to get back to some semblance of games being played in stadiums with crowds hyped and all whatever else, right? So that was like my big thing. I was happy to see it. Now, how long this lasts, I don't know, but I was just worried at one point in my lifetime, will we ever see it again? Because of how tough the pandemic is. So, I'm still thankful and grateful for that. To have people actually be able to have an opportunity to go, because, there's going to be kids based on how this thing goes, and they might never get an opportunity to experience like what we did as kids growing up and go to sports arenas and stuff like that and actually see their quote unquote idols pick up a basketball, pick up a football, pick up a baseball and actually play. So I was just happy to see people get an opportunity.
Your highlight of 2021 was seeing everybody come back to the stand. What about you, Tate? What was your highlight of 2021? Doesn't have to be sports related. It could be something else. What was your 2021 highlight?
Well, I've already thought about the sports part of it, and we know Big G old enough that he saw the big red machine and Pete Rose play.
Yeah,
earlier in the summer, when he was 2 years old.
Yeah, I remember.
But my sports highlight of the year, man, I don't think none of my teams did good this year. I mean, Ohio State underachieved, didn't make it. The Steelers are stinking it up right now. The Cavs are looking good, but my highlight of the year was Giannis's 50-piece in the NBA Finals. Yeah, I got to roll with Giannis, man. I mean, that was a great NBA Finals. It was exciting, even though it was two new teams to the whole thing. I mean, Phoenix and Milwaukee hadn't been to the finals. Phoenix since Barkley back in '93, and Milwaukee since the 70s, sometime in the 70s.
71. 71.
So that was a good finals, and Giannis just, showing that he's the best player in the world right now. His 50-piece, and was it in Game 6 to clinch it? So that was big. That's one of the all-time playoff clinching performances.
Yeah. For me, and then I just thought of one more thing that I have to do before we get off show. But for me, I think it was Atlanta, the Braves winning the pennant, and then baseball. It was a hype around baseball that came back. We had my guy from Japan. What's his name?
Shohei Ohtani.
Yeah. Hey, this is like a return of Babe Ruth, man. I mean, the guy's phenomenal. He's a great pitcher, and he's just knocking home runs out the park. But then to see the Braves win it all, that was great. It brought back nostalgia,
the Braves, your team?
Yeah, I love the Atlanta Braves. Atlanta Braves. Okay. I've been an Atlanta Braves fan ever since, Dale Murphy, Otis Nixon. Yeah.
I remember Dale Murphy and them boys back then.
Yeah, man. My uncle William, shout out to Uncle William. he was a Braves fan. He loved the Braves, so I had to sit up and watch the Braves all the time. And then, I just started to love the team, man. And then, definitely I've always been a Texas boy, so I loved everything about Texas. But he was the Braves. That's where I got my love and affinity for the Braves. But man, baseball had some hype around it this year, and I really felt good, about that. Then I think the other piece of that was this, seeing Dion bring players from, bring kids that were, top recruits to HBCU programs. That was huge to me. That's huge, seeing that type of thing happen in my lifetime, because we've always talked about it with this NIL and everything coming. But, we talked about the fact that, man, if you ever had like 4 or 5 kids, like, and we had Ray Jackson on the program, but 4 or 5 kids, like the Fab Five, come and go to a HBCU, we were saying how that would just kind of change the trend in college recruiting and for historically black universities, college and universities. So, man, I thought those were 2 highlights of the year, and I was super excited about those. And, shouts out to Deion Sanders and what he's doing down there at Jackson State. Be great. I love it. I love it, man. I love it. Chris, what were your highlights of the year, 2021?
So people know where my allegiances are. I'm a Longhorns fan, Cowboys fan, Heat fan, in that order, right? I have dreams about the Texas-Oklahoma game. This is my I bleed orange. I really invest a lot of time and energy into Longhorn football. So I'm watching the Oklahoma game, and we are up, and the nostalgia, the euphoria that comes over my body, like, oh, we are doing this. This is awesome. We stomping them into the dirt. I thought maybe we can go to the playoffs, get through the rest of the season. And then my phone lights up. Hey man, it's Big G. Hey man, do y'all think that Texas lost because of coaching? And my world just comes crashing down, and the rage that fuels me because I've been looking to this game all year, and my highlight was that moment, and it was followed by deep despair. So shout out to Big G for that. I appreciate you, dog. But I guess my real highlight is that was the happiest I was this year. I was this year about something sports.
The Longhorns have disappointed us and let us down. Hey man, we have any parting shots, you guys? Anybody got any parting shots? This is our last show of 2021. Tate, you got some parting shots?
No, I just got a question for y'all. And it's just to do with the holiday and the season. What is each one of y'all favorite all-time Christmas song?
That's a great question. Listen, I actually have a list of songs that I have to listen to every year. And without a shadow of a doubt, I'm only like 50% in on this list right now.
How deep it go? How deep it go?
It's about 12 songs deep. Songs deep. And, Donny Hathaway, This Christmas. It's got to happen. That's got to happen every year.
Stole my song, man.
My generation is Chris Brown. My wife will not go a Christmas without hearing a Chris Brown.
Then Christmas Time is here. Charlie Brown, the Peanuts. Christmas Time is here. Got to hear that. I got to hear it. I think everybody is with the Temptations. In my mind, everybody got to hear that. That's the joint. Man, like I said, I got a list, man. I got a list of Christmas songs, but those are 3. So I'll let somebody else chime in here. G, what's your Christmas songs for you that you go to?
I every year I listen to This Christmas, regardless of who sings it or not. I think my wife has probably played it throughout the house at least once every single day from like about the 10th or the 11th of December to today. Currently, that's blasted throughout the house, because my wife and my children really enjoy Christmas, right? So I also listen to like Merry Christmas Baby or Santa Baby. I listen to those every single year, man. You know, and I'm an old head, old schooler, man. I don't feel right unless I hear Deck the Halls. You know, if that Deck the Halls don't get played in some capacity, I don't feel right. You know, but that's because also one of my favorite Christmas movies of all time is The Griswolds, man. You know, so I laugh. I listen. I watch, like, you know, I like some people watch A Christmas Story and Friday After Next. I watch them, but man, every Christmas I watch The Griswolds, man. And every year I laugh by watching The Griswolds. Every year, it's never stopped. So, and that's one of the songs that they talk about in that movie.
Yeah. So, Tate, G just upped the stakes. So give us your Christmas song and your Christmas movie.
Well, my Christmas song, both we all agree this Christmas, the Donny Hathaway, and I like the Chris Brown version. And you know, so piggybacking off that, my favorite Christmas movie of all time is This Christmas with Chris Brown and Delroy Lindo and Lauren London and Regina King. Great movie. I mean, it's about 15 years old now, but I watch that movie every year. Matter of fact, now we talking about it's about time to make sure I get it in sometime this week.
Gotta get it in. Yep. Chris.
I don't have any popular like cultural touchstones. It's more just like what you said. Like I there's a playlist I gotta get in. Like I gotta listen to 808s and Heartbreaks every winter. Just because it really goes like I just
That's
like
Kanye West, by the way, if you got
yeah.
I know that garbage.
All right, cool. This is being aggressive.
That's garbage, Kanye.
Cool. I disagree. And then my favorite, or one of my favorite singers, his name is James Fauntleroy. He has The Warmest Winter Ever 1 and 2.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed that. I listen to those every year too. But as far as movies go, my mom likes Elf, so I like Elf, but I think I prefer The Grinch. I like to get in The Grinch. Oh, check out Tyler, the Creator's The Grinch soundtrack too, because I love that around this time as well.
Yeah,
this guy and his music. You know, you got it. You have to get in. You definitely have to get in. You know, A Christmas Story next Friday. You definitely got to get that in. This Christmas, you got to get that in. I think, you know, when we start talking about traditional Christmas movies, like I said, you know, Charlie Brown Christmas, you got to get that. Elf, you got to get that in. Elf is one of the ones that has became a staple because it's really silly. I just watched it maybe 2 nights ago. So definitely. And then, you know, National Lampoons, I think that's on everybody. But let me ask you this. Untraditional Christmas song, because I put this in our chat, and I don't think people knew that Players Ball by Outkast was a Christmas song.
What are you talking about?
Oh, it is.
Players Ball
by
Outkast came off of a Christmas album.
Yes, it did. When I worked for the Foot Locker, we played that on the playlist as a song that was on rotation because, you know, you got to play a continuous loop. And the edited version of Players Ball on the first Christmas album where I worked in Foot Locker, that song was on that loop. It was on the loop.
Okay.
Know it all, listeners. Tell us your favorite movie, your favorite song. Definitely chime in, and you can leave that in the comments, or you get it to us live, and we'll talk about it. Yeah. So untraditional Christmas movie, Tate.
Untraditional.
Right, that what you didn't know, you wouldn't think it's a Christmas movie, but it's actually a Christmas movie.
Die Hard 2.
Yes.
Die Hard, yeah. I knew you were gonna say it. That's one of the main ones that's a Christmas movie, and people don't associate it with Christmas.
What's the one with Seth Rogen and the Falcon, and you know, it's Seth Rogen, Anthony Mackie. It's a comedy. It'll come back to me. I'll find it.
I thought you was going for Bad Santa. I was like, no, we're not watching Bad Santa.
Hey,
we're not doing that.
I know it's got a traditional setting, but I'm gonna tell you one of the best Christmas movies really if you know you have your significant other, your husband, your wife, or whatever, and you want to sit down and watch a really good movie, watch Best Man Holiday. Best Man Holiday is one of the best movies
too sad.
ever.
That's really sad.
Yeah,
it is.
I like that, but that's a Christmas movie though.
But how it's like Ma said, it's real sad, man. But it's really a really good movie, you know.
Yeah.
So the movie's called The Night Before. The Night Before. It's got Seth Rogen, Anthony Mackie, and Joseph Gordon-Levitt in it.
Okay.
Yeah,
good actors.
I've seen that before. Yeah.
Good actors, but I never heard it. But listen, you guys, going into next year, we thank you for rocking with us this year. I mean, our subscriber count has went up and definitely continues to go up. We're going to have some giveaways next year. That's some of the things that we've talked about as a team that we want to do for you guys as we continue to get more subscribers. If you like what you're hearing, make sure that you like and subscribe so that way when we go live, you will definitely, and this is on YouTube, you'll definitely get an alert that we're going live and you'll be able to rock with us during that whole time. You know,
I think it's only fair to tell some of the listeners what some of the giveaways and gifts might be. So to all the lady listeners, you can get a dinner with me. To all the male listeners, you can get a date with Big G.
Nah, bro, it don't roll like that. On the serious tip, though, on the serious tip, we are seriously gonna give away some fantastic stuff. You know, we start hitting the 300, the 400, the 500, and we go and excel over in the thousands. You guys, some of the stuff that we're going to give away on the show is going to be like stuff that you might not ever be able to get your hands on, you know. So, and that's just to say thank you to you guys as listeners and viewers, you know, because without us, I mean, without you guys, there's no us. So we talked about it as a team collectively. What can we do to enhance your experience to tuning into the Know-It-Alls and some of the stuff as we post it, and you'll get notifications about it. Hey, look, if you're this subscriber, you got an opportunity to get this and that. So you're really going to enjoy it for 2022.
Absolutely. And you guys who are already current subscribers, share the podcast. Make sure that, you know, if you love the content, share it with somebody. Make sure they get a chance to check it out, man. But for myself, Big G, Tate, and Chris, we appreciate you guys for rocking with us this Sunday. We out of here, man. Y'all be
Merry
blessed.
Christmas.
Have a Merry Christmas. Oh, happy birthday to Gloria Brown. She is 92 years young. My grandmother's 92 years young today. Yeah. Happy birthday. Wow. We out of here, man. Peace.